It's a beautiful summer evening in Iowa City, and we are pleased and so delighted to have two very distinguished guests today, in addition to my talented co-host, Elwi Apor Harris. And this is the first time Elwi is going to interview those two guests who are familiar with this program, and all the viewers know who you are, but we just do the cliche thing and introduce you officially. Chris Pisarik is one of the leaders in our administrative body in the district, and he is the principal of Longfellow Elementary School, the historic building that's still standing
Yes.
in our city, reminding us with the days of the early 20th century. 1917 you were built, right?
That's our cornerstone,
Wow,
yes.
that's amazing. And next to you is this legendary builder, Mr. Dwayne Van Hemert. And Dwayne is our physical plant director. And you have a lot of titles, right? Well, take this only, right?
That's the title, sure.
Well, he is the one that you always see on the board meeting answering all the questions about the buildings and which one needs what. And Elwi, when we were backstage preparing for this set, she told me that you were building the schools with your arms, and then you had some trouble with your shoulder after.
Wore out my shoulder, I had to have it replaced.
So let us move to Chris Pisarik. What's this story about? You are going to be a frequent traveler. You're going to leave your building, go to Hoover, then leave Hoover. Hoover will be the disguised Longfellow,
Yes.
or vice versa.
Yes, yes.
And then you will go back to your building after Dwayne finishes all his beautification there and
Yes.
the renovation. So tell us this story.
So let's see that we've been working on the facilities master's plans for 4.5, going on 5 years
Yeah.
now. And so I've been a part of the Longfellow community since 1999, and am really looking forward to this project. I'm very grateful to the community, to Dwayne's team for this opportunity, to our board. It's going to be a really exciting time for our community. So we're in the process right now. We're packing everything up and getting ready to move out for the year. We're going to be heading out to the new Hoover building that's being built on American Legion Road, and our entire community will move out there together. I really appreciate that plan, and speak to that a little bit more in a little while, but we'll be out there for the year, and so they'll have the summer on both ends of the school year to do some pretty significant renovations at the existing Longfellow site, and really rejuvenate things there, and expand on that great community that's part of my everyday. So,
Chris, how did the idea came about that you decided to keep this building? Whereas other buildings that had the same age built during the same time were either demolished or sold.
sure.
To be demolished.
Yeah.
Like Sabin, for instance.
Yeah.
How did this decision came about?
I think if you go back in time about 6 or 7 years ago, maybe, we started to get some community input. We got some feedback from various stakeholders, and I think one thing that really came to light was that, whether you're talking about Longfellow or Horace Mann or Lincoln Elementary Schools, our community is very much in favor of saving those buildings and bringing them back to life, if you will. And so, it was probably around that time that Dwayne and the team started to talk about just ways and possibilities that we could make that happen, that we could keep Longfellow, the existing structure, and be able to improve on it from there. So,
Great, thank you.
And what process did you have to go through, Dwayne, to approve and finance even to make this renovation happen?
Right, well, actually in 2013, the board made the decision to keep Longfellow open and keep it as a school in that neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood, and it has good bones. It's a good building. And then at that time, they put it in the plan to be financed by the sales tax money, or it's called Save for an advanced vision. And so that's how it's funded. And we put together a budget based on the square footage, and we also did an assessment of the building in January of 2013 to determine how much money it would take and whether or not it was worthy. If it's going to cost more to upgrade it than to maybe build new, that was considered as well. But we feel we can renovate the building and improve it and do a good job and be fiscally right with the district.
Because we mentioned the finances, I want to make a little leap without being a propagator or promoter of the bond issue. But I want you to tell me how, well, let us hypothetically suppose that the bond fails. Will this affect Longfellow? I know it will affect other schools,
Right.
but will it affect Longfellow?
The bond will affect all the projects that begin next spring,
All of them,
all of them.
including Longfellow?
No, Longfellow starts this summer.
Okay, good.
Then the projects that were slated to start in 2018 would be affected by the bond. Longfellow this summer and an addition in renovation at West High School is being funded by the sales tax. So regardless of how the bond comes out, Longfellow is going to be completed. And the monies and the funds are there right now.
Well, that's before this show concludes. I'm going to ask you about the referendum and its effect on the other sites in the district.
Okay?
What's in your vision when you sit with Dwayne and his team? What do you talk about? Do you have certain extensions you want to do some more?
That's a great question.
Take us as viewers to that.
Yeah, so it was, obviously this is my first time with this experience, and Dwayne's done a great job of holding my hand and making sure I'm heading in the right direction. But when we came into this process, in my mind and my thought process was that we were going to do some renovations, and that included, upgrading the electrical, probably an elevator in there for ADA compliance purposes, updating the HVAC system, getting air conditioning and heating throughout the building. And those were some of the bigger pieces. I know we talked about windows and things like that as well. But I really didn't know what that would look like until we sat down last summer. And we had some fellows come to us from Omaha, and they partnered with Rohrbach here in Iowa City. Will Downing is a former Longfellow parent. He's one of the architects that has really spearheaded this project for us here locally, and it was just fascinating to sit down and go through this process with them. And at one of the very first meetings that we sat down at, we started talking about the budget and where we were at and some of the things that we could do. And within a half hour, Dwayne had already created 5 new classroom spaces inside the building,
Right.
and we had an entire fine arts wing that we were adding on. So I kind of sat down and
Fine
held on for the
arts.
ride.
My heart beats so
that
fast
point.
when I
So-
hear that.
Well,
Yeah,
it was not quite that simple, but by adding on a new art and music and a new media center, it freed up classroom space in the building. The media center alone freed up 2 spaces. So it's a kind of a win-win. You create the fine arts addition and it frees up classroom space. So it's
Always, once you put your
Sure.
emphasis on fine arts, everything becomes
well,
wonderful.
there is an emphasis on that in Iowa City, and I think we're doing that a lot of places. So
So this is a question for Chris. Chris, does this mean that there will be new programs then added to the existing?
Oh, good question.
it's a great question. So I think, obviously this enhances just our general curriculum and what we're able to do in the music room, what we're able to do in art and in the library and places like that. But, with that, it also opened up space. It gave us the opportunity. We're going to be able to bring a preschool program now to the Longfellow community. which we're absolutely thrilled. We're bringing the group from Wendell Johnson over, and they're going to join us in the transition to Hoover this summer, and then we'll come back and be a permanent part of our community. And it'll be great, just a great service that we'll have available to our families and to our communities. So we're really looking forward to that piece of it.
So I am just, this is a fun question, but
I'll
just
take that.
imagination. Like you went to Hoover and you stayed there, and the community, the Longfellow said, oh, that's a beautiful place, we're going to stay here.
Yeah.
And the people at Longfellow neighborhood love the old building.
Yeah.
So they say, oh, how about we name this Hoover? Can this ever happen? No.
I don't know about that one, honey. I know we've
It all depends on how beautiful he's going to make it, right?
it is, and we talked about that. Our there's been a lot of talk around
Yeah.
us and things that we hear, and how, when you go out to Hoover, are you going to be sad that you're coming back to an older facility and things like that? And when we sit down and look at things, and Dwayne's walked me through this, it's going to be like a brand new building on the inside.
Right. I know.
We're not going to notice a lot of difference from when we're going through the hallways and things like that. It's gonna be pretty sharp inside. So
It's going to look new. It's going to have terrazzo floors and a lot of additional casework or woodwork, and so I think it's going to look pretty fresh.
you're going to see some nice color throughout the building as well. It's going to be really elementary
Right.
and kid friendly, and
They can't stay at Hoover because Lincoln and Mann are going there next year.
yeah.
I know, it is becoming like a train station.
Yes.
You got a
People
short
come and
lease there.
leave. Now, Dwayne, let us again suppose that we pass the general obligation bond referendum. Now, you and I and a lot of our viewers know that the board recently, a couple of weeks ago, had already approved the new language for the obligation.
Yes.
Now, let us suppose that the community felt that this is important, this is vital, we are going to vote for it, and we'll support it. Right?
Yes.
And you are in the middle of this renovation, because this approval will happen on September 12th,
That's correct.
and you will be working on the Longfellow.
Right.
Does this mean that you are going to have less emphasis now? You can't be two persons in one body. How are you going to manage to finish their work in time and start City High and West High and Liberty and all this?
Well, we spread the plan out over 10 years, and the reason for that is so that we had the manpower to do it and enough contractors in the community to do the work. And planning purposes, the effect that you have on schools when you move from one building to the other, it's a domino effect. So we planned it out pretty well, but from the beginning, we knew that we'd only get about halfway with sales tax, and we'd need to finish it with the general obligation bond. It was well known in the beginning of the plan that that's what it would take. But there are projects in every part of town that are dependent on the bond. There's a $30 million renovation for City High. There's a $30 million renovation for West High. There's phase 2 athletic fields and venues for Liberty High and a 500 student addition at Liberty High. There's a new elementary school in North Liberty. There are schools like Lemmy and
And you finished with Weber already.
Weber, we're just now finishing this summer. So there are elementary schools in every part of town that need to be finished so we can be 100% air conditioned. We're almost there. 2019 with the
You have
district.
Garner too in your list.
Garner's on the list.
Yeah.
Van Allen's on the list. We finished Penn. We've done the new school at Alexander. We did this new school at Hoover East. We've done Twain. We've done a lot of buildings already. Weber's in process. Lucas is in process right now. So I feel good about what we've done, but we spread it out so we can do the work and do it right and get the right funding mechanisms in place.
Excellent.
Very
Elway.
good. I have no
Jump in.
questions at this time.
No
I'm
question.
just
Would you like
trying to
to-
absorb
Yeah.
all of
Would
this
you want to hear about the
good-
projects we're going to finish this summer?
I still want to give Chris a chance
Okay.
to talk to me, because
Have
now
at it.
you're going to have a strong art department, right?
Yeah.
And how about the library?
Yeah,
Because I
so-
know that you had a little bit constraint in your library at Longfellow, right?
Yeah, I'd say our library is maybe one of the smaller ones in the district at the present.
Right.
But,
Very man.
but moving forward, some of the new building, we're going from 34,000 square feet roughly at our existing space. We're going to add on another 21,000 square feet, so that's going to push us almost to 55,000 square feet by the time we're done with this. And part of that new square footage, we've got a new office space, so we'll have a nice secure entrance that families and visitors can come through throughout the day. There's going to be a brand new gymnasium, and that'll all be it'll be structured in a way that it's safe. It's a safe space. We can use that. When we practice our tornado procedures and things like that, it's a space where kids are going to be safe and staff's going to be safe. We've got a new library that's going to be right there on the main floor, next to the office space. Up above there, we've got room for a classroom or a computer lab. We've got a new art room coming in, and we've got a new music room coming in. Dwayne worked some magic throughout this process in that for our band and orchestra rehearsal room, he's got some Wagner practice rooms that are
From the University of Iowa.
they're going to be inserted into this space. So the sixth grade class that currently gets serenaded every practice and rehearsal session, it might be a little bit quieter in their space moving forward.
And you're going to reopen the stage.
And that was the big piece for me, is that in the mid '80s they enclosed the stage that we had and put a ceiling in there, and they built Mac Lab up right next to the library up on the second floor. But that space is going to be reopened now, and we've got the stage coming back. And I couldn't be more happy about that. So it's going to be something special.
Well, definitely, we finished questioning Chris about Longfellow. So can I jump now to the other projects?
You certainly
All
can.
right. So back to Dwayne. Now I want you to update our viewers with all what has been done. You have already mentioned a lot, but is there anything that we left away? We didn't.
Well, it's important for everybody to know that our new Liberty High School will be ready in August. It's coming along quite well. We've been on that project for 2 years, and I couldn't be more pleased with the way it looks and the way it's going. At Weber Elementary, we just built an 8-classroom addition. 2 of those rooms are for preschool, so we're going to be adding preschool at Weber Elementary. We're at Lucas Elementary as well. That'll be completed this summer. And Lucas has a nice new secure front entrance and office area to make that building more manageable. The office used to be set back away from the front door, as it is at Longfellow and a lot of other schools. We're improving that. That's a big plus for us right now. And we're getting ready to start, besides Longfellow, this spring we're going to start a new gymnasium and kitchen addition at West High School. Their kitchen serves the west side of town, and it's undersized and needs to be improved. And West High needs an adequate practice facility for
And the cafeteria
athletics.
is really.
And the
needs a
cafeteria
lot.
will be improved as well. So those are projects we're starting this summer. We've started preliminary design work for Mann Elementary and Lincoln Elementary. Those are, of course, based on the bond, but we have to be prepared. If the bond passes, we need to be prepared to start those next spring. We just can't wait until September. So we've got those in progress as well as a new elementary school in North Liberty.
Can I ask you about the windows problem at West High? I mean,
yeah.
this is a huge problem. This is
Yeah,
a
well, the
huge
window.
one. Do we have to wait for the bond in order to repair all these windows? They are leaking, the water is coming, and the
Yeah.
ice is coming.
I'm always amazed at how much you know about the district, Connie. You're tuned in, buddy.
That's
You get your ear to the
my
ground. we have replaced some of the windows at West High, but those windows are 50 years old. That building was done 50 years ago, and that's the lifespan of a window. Plus, the window systems are tied into the heating and cooling systems. They're all on the outside walls, and they all have vents through those walls. So to improve the heating and cooling, the windows, they're tied together. They both get taken out at the same time with new heating, cooling, and new windows. So we've been doing a lot of repair work over there, trying to keep them as tight as possible, but it's time to replace them. And that's, again, it's dependent on the bond. If we don't have the bond, we'll have to do small projects, and it'll take many years to get it done.
One of the things that for me is a nightmare if we don't approve the bond right now, that if we think or consider it a couple of years from now, it will cost probably double the amount that, or double the money that we can pay now. It's scary, the rate of inflation and the expenses. I heard numbers that are really frightening. Like something will cost now at City High, for instance, 10 million. After a couple of years, it will be 20 million,
Yeah,
22 million.
I don't know if it'll be that much, but
Yeah.
but construction inflation is based on local market availability of contractors and then commodities markets. So when energy costs go up, building costs go up, and copper, for example, that's a commodity, but those kinds of things affect the cost of building and construction. So in construction inflation is typically outpaces consumer inflation. And it can average easily 8 to 10% per year. And so I've seen it go higher. When China bought all the steel up in the world, the scrap steel, it went up to like 20%. So it can go up in a real hurry. It is an issue, so we need to secure the funds. And right now, interest rates are low on bond money. That's helpful too. We can save millions of dollars by passing that bond now and making commitments.
So how can we as a community help support this project or the projects to come?
The community's already come together. They've got several committees that are promoting it. They're going to all the PTO meetings and community meetings, and board members are out there promoting it and giving a presentation. It's easier for them to do that than for administrative staff members. We're supposed to stay, neutral and not be out there advocating so much for projects like that. But it's the community's decision, but the community should know there are projects in every part of town that need the bond money.
With the consideration that our community is graying quickly, and thanks to the U.S. report and World News and the Business Week promoting Iowa City as a good place for retired people. And so we have a lot of people in Arizona would like to come to Iowa City, by the way, which is really funny, but it is happening. So now with the rise of the graying rate among our citizens here, do you think that this may affect a little bit the bond voting rate?
I don't know if it has a direct effect, but the growing community does. When people come in, and we've been adding 300-400 students a year, that's an elementary school, if you think about it. So I think that there's pressure for folks to want to move here and move into Iowa City. It's a great place to live. It's a good community.
And how can I convince my comrades, people who are graying like me, to vote for the bond?
Another piece of that is that the bond it raises taxes in theory, but the thing about Iowa City is that the taxable base is growing so rapidly that that's spread out over more and more value in the community. As you add homes and businesses, that tax value, that tax base expands, and therefore the net result on your individual tax rate on your home is going to go down. And we think it will go down, and by the end of the program, it'll be almost to zero because of the growth in the tax base in Iowa City. So the growth is a good thing because it helps lower the taxes, and that will pay for the schools.
Well, that was very illuminating and enlightening. So how about if we see if they have anything else we overlooked?
Do
Do you
have anything
any
else
message
that you'd
for
like
the community?
to share?
Yeah.
I think I would just like to
This is your camera.
on a personal level.
Viewers.
Thank you, Ron. On a personal level, I would just like to thank, again, the entire community, but there have been so many people behind the scenes and so many people that are going to be a part of this major process for us as a Longfellow community. Dwayne and everybody at the central office have been doing tremendous things behind the scenes. I need to thank my staff and our families who are going to be, who have been very supportive and who I anticipate will continue to be very supportive throughout this process. You know, it's a lot of change for them in the next couple of years. And I think everybody's got the vision that they can see out far enough that this is going to be a great thing for our students and for our classes. And I think, you know, coming back to your question that you had for Dwayne just a second ago, if there's anybody that has questions about what an impact this would have on a school, please come out to Hoover and visit with me next year. Come to Longfellow the following year and take a look at what we're doing. It's just, you know, we wouldn't be able to do some of that stuff without the passage of this bond. And so,
On behalf of John Kerhoff and Mike Peterson and the staff of Public Access TV, Trenton, Oris, and all the staff here, I would like to thank you very much. It has been really, really very informative, and we are so happy for you. Congratulations.
thank you.
For the first train station.
Yes, yes.
And then we will congratulate you again when you go back to the beautiful historic building after its renovation. Having said that, this program will be on Channel 18, Channel 21, that's the Education Channel, on the Public Access TV website, and of course on YouTube, maybe tonight or tomorrow morning. And we thank you again. And thanks our viewers for listening and paying attention. And please, as Mr. Pizarnik said, if you have any question, go visit him. He's ready to answer any question from the community. Thank you, Elvi, for being the wonderful co-host always.
My pleasure.
Thank you.